What happens when one player creates so much chaos that an entire league finally says, enough is enough? The WNBA has just made that decision with Chennedy Carter. After multiple suspensions, constant locker room issues, and that notorious flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark, the league has effectively shut the door on her career. And honestly, it feels long overdue. This move sends a clear signal. The days of players targeting Clark without consequences are over. The league is finally drawing a line in the sand. But what Carter recently had to say about Caitlin in a new interview might shock you even more.
I want to talk about Chennedy Carter, but it looks like she's blacklisted, and she will be playing professional basketball during the season, but it won't be for the WNBA.
June 1st. 2024 looked like it was going to be a routine regular season matchup between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever. Gainbridge Fieldhouse was buzzing as Fever supporters packed the arena, excited to watch rookie sensation Caitlin Clark build on her remarkable first year in the league. At the start, it felt like just another night of WNBA basketball. Both teams came out battling, exchanging runs, and playing tough physical defense. The game had intensity, rhythm, and plenty of highlight moments. As expected, Clark was in her element, dropping pinpoint passes, knocking down deep shots, and putting on the kind of performance that had already made her must-watch television. Everything seemed normal, but in a single moment, that all changed. So what happened next would shift the entire conversation and forever attach Chennedy Carter's name to one of the most controversial plays of the season.
Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter, I think that's going to be a flagrant one. And
after making a basket, Carter had the ball poked loose while heading back up the court. The possession was already finished. The referee had blown the whistle, but instead of letting the moment pass, Carter chose to keep it going. As Caitlin Clark bent down to grab the ball, Carter intentionally cut across her and unleashed a hard, aggressive hip check that knocked Clark straight to the ground. The hit came out of nowhere and served no basketball purpose at all. Clark never even had time to react or protect herself from the impact.
Seriously, she needs to do whatever she can to get some help, get her anger under control, where she will not have another incident like the one where she slammed into Caitlin Clark, but she's out of the league.
The reaction inside the arena said it all. What had been a loud, energetic crowd instantly fell into an uncomfortable hush as fans watched Caitlin Clark get slammed to the floor. The mood shifted in seconds, from excitement to disbelief. At first, the referees ruled it as just a standard foul, but once the replay was shown, the reality became impossible to ignore. Carter had gone after Clark far from the ball, turning a simple dead ball situation into a reckless and dangerous act. The impact knocked Clark off her feet, and as she slowly got up, the shock and frustration were written all over her face.
Despite the solid fourth season from Carter, an incident with Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark stood out to many. The 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year came in the league, became arguably the most popular player. There, I cleaned it up for you, which may have rubbed some people the wrong way, including Carter.
And let's not overlook the fact that Angel Reese was caught on camera clapping in approval right after the incident. That image alone added even more fuel to the fire. After reviewing the play once the game was over, the WNBA officiating crew changed the ruling and upgraded it to a flagrant 1 foul. Their conclusion was simple. The contact was both unnecessary and excessive, something obvious to anyone who had seen it live. By making that adjustment, the league made a firm statement that actions like this would not just be brushed aside. Targeting a player in that manner crossed a line, and the WNBA wasn't going to ignore it. But as serious as the upgraded foul was, the biggest blow to Chennedy Carter's image came in the hours and days that followed the game.
She was signed to the Chicago Sky with Teresa Weatherspoon, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, and the rest of the folks. And then we get to the body check. This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people, which really escalated the issue. And it was really just poor sportsmanship on Kennedy's.
After the game, reporters made their way to Carter, eager to get her side of the story. The incident was the biggest talking point of the night, so questions about it were inevitable. What happened next only made things worse for her. Instead of taking responsibility or handling the moment with maturity, Carter brushed off the media with a cold, odd, defensive attitude that left many stunned. Her reaction came across as arrogant and unprofessional, revealing a clear disregard for the situation, the league, and even her fellow players.
And then Kennedy just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin. What was that play, what was said, and kind of what it led to.
Next question. Yeah, I mean, like Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit. Yeah. I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions. Did she say anything to you? I don't know what she said. What'd you say to her? I didn't say anything. That's enough. We're good.
Caitlin Clark's response to those very same questions highlighted exactly why she has become the new standard in women's basketball. Even after being on the receiving end of a blatant cheap shot, Clark addressed the situation with poise and composure. She spoke calmly about the reality that basketball is an intense physical game and that emotions can sometimes boil over in the heat of competition. Her comments reflected a level of professionalism far beyond her years and demonstrated the kind of leadership that has earned her respect across the league. In that moment, she showed once again why she stands out, not just as an elite player, but as a true role model on and off the court.
I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just respond, calm down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense, and I feel like that's kind of what we did, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
The difference between the two could not have been clearer. On one hand, you had a young rookie who had just been blindsided on the court, yet still chose to respond with grace and professionalism. On the other, a seasoned player who refused to own up to her actions or show even a hint of accountability. Fans, analysts, and players around the league watched how both handled the moment, and it didn't take long for people to form strong opinions about the character of each athlete.
There's no doubt Kennedy Carter is extremely talented, but she's got to get her head screwed on straight.
For league officials, this moment felt like the final straw after years of monitoring Carter's track record. The Wnba has worked hard to establish itself as a top-tier professional organization filled with elite athletes and strong role models. On what Carter did on that court and how she handled herself afterward put that image at risk. The reckless nature of the play, combined with her defiant post-game behavior, made it obvious she didn't grasp the level of professionalism the league demands. Almost overnight, teams around the league started pulling away from her, unwilling to be associated with the controversy.
It's one thing pushing Caitlin Clark, and it's another thing blindsiding her. Like, I don't think there's no justification for that. Like, to be honest, we can be honest here.
What Carter did to Clark wasn't just an isolated lapse in judgment in the heat of competition. It was part of a long-running history of questionable actions and ongoing issues that had followed her for years. That one reckless moment ended up being the tipping point for many around the league. Front offices and coaches finally reached the same conclusion, that the problems Carter created off the court outweighed anything she brought on it. Her behavior had simply become too much of a liability for teams to keep dealing with.
Knocked Caitlin Clark to the floor. We all saw it. A flagrant foul. And many people, including myself, thought it was borderline assault. It was awful.
Carter's talent on the court was never in question. She could score from all over and averaged an impressive 17.5 points per game with the Chicago Sky in her final season. Her speed, agility, and scoring instincts made her a legitimate offensive weapon, one that opposing coaches had to account for in every game. But in professional sports, raw talent only takes you so far. When a player's behavior becomes a recurring problem, even elite skills can't keep them on a roster. Carter first raised serious concerns during her stint with the Atlanta Dream in 2021. The team eventually suspended her for what they officially called conduct detrimental to the team. Sources inside the organization pointed to ongoing locker room tension and repeated clashes with coaches that made her increasingly difficult to manage. The Dream initially tried to guide her competitive energy in a positive direction, hoping to turn her fire into a team asset. But those efforts fell short as Carter continued stirring conflict behind the scenes, making it clear that managing her behavior was an uphill battle.
Atlanta Dream did suspend her in the middle of the sophomore season basically saying she was a detriment to the team and the team culture. So then the Atlanta Dream decided to trade her to the Sparks, the Los Angeles.
After her turbulent stint in Atlanta, Carter joined the Los Angeles Sparks in 2023. The organization hoped a new city, a fresh start, and a different environment would help her thrive. But those hopes quickly faded. Her time with the Sparks lasted only part of a single season before conduct issues forced the team's hand. She was benched repeatedly, and ultimately, the Sparks decided it wasn't worth the trouble, choosing to part ways rather than manage the ongoing drama. By this point, a clear pattern had emerged for everyone paying attention. Oh, Carter would arrive at a team, flash her undeniable scoring talent, and then create enough internal conflict to wear out her welcome. It wasn't isolated to one coach or one system. Every team that gave her a chance ended up frustrated when her attitude overshadowed her on-court contributions. Chicago represented what many saw as her last real opportunity to prove she could operate as a professional. The Sky, in need of scoring, took a chance on her obvious talent. On the court, Carter delivered, leading the team in points and putting up some of the best numbers of her career. On paper, it looked like she was finally turning things around. Behind the scenes, however, the familiar issues persisted. Her interactions with teammates and staff generated tension that affected team chemistry. The Sky tolerated it for as long as her production justified it, but internally, they were already preparing for life without her. When her contract expired, the message was clear. Chicago would not extend a qualifying offer, closing the chapter on what was supposed to be Carter's final chance at redemption.
In the 2024 WNBA season, guard Chennedy Carter emerged as a key player for the Chicago Sky, leading the team in scoring with 17.5 points per game, a career high. She would still be probably their best pure offensive weapon if she was still on that team. Now, there's a world where Camila Cardoso, and I've said this, will be their best player this year, provided they allow her to ball, or provided Angel Reese gets the hell out of the way, one of the two.
Across the league, general managers were watching Carter's situation unfold with a mix of curiosity and caution. Here was a player with undeniable scoring ability, yet one who couldn't seem to stay on a roster because of persistent character concerns. Multiple insiders confirmed that team executives held private conversations about her reputation and came to a nearly unanimous conclusion. The headaches she brought were not worth the potential on-court payoff. While her talent looked appealing on paper, every organization that considered signing her was ultimately deterred by her long history of off-court issues.
Forward to Friday, Carter, who saw her one-year deal with the Sky come to an end, has yet to sign with the WNBA team. With training camp right around the corner, Carter has elected to join a different league as she awaits another shot at the WNBA. Chennedy Carter has taken her talents to the Mexican, and I'm not even trying to pronounce that, the LMBPF. Long story short, it's in Mexico, and it looks like a women's Mexican basketball league, professional basketball league.
The WNBA was growing into a more polished, professional, and marketable league. Owners were pouring more resources into their teams and expecting players to meet higher standards both on and off the court. Carter's ongoing locker room conflicts were a throwback to an older, less disciplined era, one the league was determined to move past. Her behavioral issues had become a liability no team could afford. The decision to essentially shut her out of the WNBA became undeniable when she signed with a team in Mexico during the WNBA season. That move made it crystal clear no franchise in the league was willing to take her on. Her plans to play in China during the WNBA off-season only reinforced the reality. Carter had burned every bridge in American women's professional basketball, leaving her career in the league all but over.
She's joining a women's basketball league in Mexico. The WNBA thing looks like a wrap for her for now. And in case you're wondering, she averaged 17.5 points a game last year and literally shot 50% from the field for the Chicago Sky. And she's 26 years old. I get it. I mean, she's got to lay in the bed she made.
Carter's move to play in international leagues underscored one hard truth in today's professional sports. Talent alone isn't enough. Character matters. She was given multiple chances by 3 different WNBA teams, yet consistently failed to meet the most basic standards of professionalism. No amount of scoring ability could make up for the turmoil and conflicts she brought to each organization. The WNBA sent a clear signal. The league no longer tolerates players who put their personal ego above team success. Carter's permanent exit created opportunities for athletes who understand the value of discipline, respect, and teamwork. Her path now serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of how quickly bridges can be burned and careers derailed when attitude outweighs talent.
Chennedy Carter, she got a new job. Adios, amigos.
Carter recently sat down for an interview with Neon, and the reaction from basketball fans was one of shock and disbelief. Rather than taking responsibility for her past actions or showing any signs of learning from her mistakes, she chose to rewrite the narrative and cast herself as the victim. Her statements only reinforced what everyone in the league already knew. WNBA teams have no interest in bringing her back.
You break down that situation that happened.
Yeah. So, in basketball a little bit, there's things called talking, what you like to call smack or whatever everybody likes to call it.
Yeah.
Plays before things are said, that's a part of basketball.
Carter tried to spin the hip check as just part of normal competitive basketball. She acted as if every player routinely throws cheap shots during dead ball situations, suggesting her hit on Clark was somehow acceptable. Conveniently, she left out the part where officials reviewed the play and upgraded it to a flagrant foul. The league, however, saw exactly what everyone watching had seen, a deliberate attempt to injure another player, plain and simple.
I think a play before, maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. Think the next play down, maybe something was said, and then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face, and then we go down the court, then I hit like a little bucket, you feel me, come down, hit like a little nice little mid-range pull-up, and then I just just give her like a little I'm here, I don't think it was. You know what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who pushed LeBron out of bounds, said, man, I was mad because we couldn't stop him.
Carter tried to cast herself as just another player who got unfairly targeted for doing what everyone does on the court. She attempted to justify her actions by claiming that trash talk and aggressive play are part of the game. Her defense quickly fell apart when you consider her behavior after the game. True competitors might talk tough during play, but they show respect once the whistle blows. Professional athletes face questions about their actions and accept responsibility when they cross the line, something Carter consistently refused to do.
It's like one of those things, it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing, it's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and it's one of those things. But it's kind of what happened, and then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to put out.
You watch every game, every single game, to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and it's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's why I said they're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little tap, I'm here, not to harm you or anything. If you want to push somebody, you're gonna fool.
The most revealing part of Carter's version of events was what she chose to leave out: her post-game behavior. She acted as if refusing to even mention Caitlin Clark was trivial, completely glossing over the moment that exposed her true character to millions of viewers. Professional athletes know that dealing with the media is part of the job, especially after controversial plays. Her dismissive attitude made it clear she believed the rules, and basic expectations of professionalism simply didn't apply to her.
I mean, that happens, man. It's one of those things. I'm a great player, she's a great player, it looks a certain way. Everybody's gonna have their views on it. But my personal view is, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player, and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season, you know what I'm saying? So, just one of those things that, I love it though. They think I hate it. I love it. I love when it gets riled up and juicy like that.
You feed off of like what people say and shit, and it makes you more motivated.
That's what I'm telling you. Oh yeah, I love the hate. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fans online didn't waste a second in calling out Carter's attempt to rewrite the story. Comment sections across social media exploded with users pointing out the flaws in her version of events. People reminded everyone of her long history of locker room drama and clashes with coaches. With a pattern of repeated issues across multiple teams, her victim narrative simply didn't hold up.
Something's got to wake her up too. Something's got to wake her up and say, man, I could be in the WNBA right now, starting on a team, being their leading scorer. I've got to get my temper and my head under control. I got to figure it out somehow.
Clark's fans quickly seized the moment to highlight the stark difference in how the two players handled the incident. They pointed out Caitlyn's composed reaction immediately after being hip-checked and her mature demeanor during post-game interviews. The contrast only made Carter's behavior look worse, with fans sharing side-by-side clips that showcase both players' responses. Basketball enthusiasts then started digging into Carter's history with other teams, showing that the Clark incident was far from an isolated event. Posts resurfaced about her suspension in Atlanta and her short-lived stint in Los Angeles. The pattern was clear. She struggled to maintain relationships with teammates and coaches wherever she went. Oh, and her reputation followed her everywhere.
There has not been a peep about anywhere that she could be landing in this free agency. So a lot of people, including myself, are wondering, is she worth the risk?
Carter's attempt to defend her actions only fueled more frustration over her refusal to take responsibility. Fans had hoped that being essentially shut out of the league would spark some growth or maturity. Instead, they were met with the same defiant attitude that had caused her problems from the start. Her interview made one thing perfectly clear. Her exile wasn't about a single play. It was a reflection of a deeper, ongoing inability to own her mistakes.
She did. She stopped and went through. Like, oh. Like, that is not... We watched the clip. I need to find the clip. There is no way that we're letting this happen. Like, saying that it was nothing. Like this is not just a tap.
Her remarks made it crystal clear why WNBA general managers made the smart choice in steering clear of her. Professional teams rely on players who can handle pressure, respect coaching, and represent their organizations with professionalism. Carter's interview showed she still lacks these fundamental qualities expected of any elite athlete. The backlash to her neon appearance only reinforced what league officials had already concluded. Her talent on the court couldn't outweigh the disruption she brought off it. Her refusal to show accountability or growth made it obvious that her permanent exit from the WNBA was the best decision for everyone. The league has firmly set its course, favoring players who build championship cultures over those who generate drama.
I mean, she can score. She can score with the lights out. I mean, she can. She's pure offense, a pure shooting guard, scoring guard, instant offense. But if you're a team, do you really want her on the team? I wouldn't.
Carter's decision to play in Mexico during the WNBA season highlights just how far she's fallen from the league's highest level. The WNBA faced a choice: tolerate disruptive behavior or focus on building a sustainable professional future. They chose progress over chaos. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever embody exactly what the league wants to promote. Their young roster brings energy, professionalism, and authentic team chemistry that draws in fans. That approach couldn't be more different from Carter's pattern of burning bridges wherever she went. The WNBA has moved past players who put personal ego above team success. Carter's permanent exit sends a strong message about accountability and professionalism that resonates across the league. Do you think she deserved it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.